All right, we are live. What's going on, buddy? Happy Friday. I
Happy
know that
Friday.
you are excited about this workout.
I could not be more excited for tomorrow's open workout.
It's a great one for you. I mean, when it came out, it had your name written all over it.
Yeah, it was even, I had a quick, like, little 30-minute break and I knocked out Alice today, which we talked about yesterday. And, you know, under 50 dubs is my jam. So, you
Yeah,
know, give me 42 and under, and I'm even happier.
I think it was a good idea to keep that workout the way it was too, just so you could have some practice with the double unders before you get into tomorrow's workout. I think for some people, it's either good to like get that practice in and get some repetitions, but like for other people, it can definitely psych them out a little bit too.
Yeah, I went into it. I was like, "Yeah, am I gonna do this today?" I was like, might as well move my body a little bit. I don't feel bad, and didn't trip up on the jump rope at all. And I'm like, damn, I had to do 48 today. That's the last set's only 30 tomorrow. I'm gonna be jamming. But
Yeah,
but yeah, I was when I was thinking about it, essentially the volume today is almost 200 double unders in the workout. Warm ups, you're obviously a little bit higher than that. When you do the math for tomorrow, like volumes of dubs is low. It's 100 reps. Like,
it's not a lot, right? It's kind of just thrown in there.
yeah, it's literally just let's spike that heart rate just a little bit before you pick this barbell up is really the goal of the jump rope tomorrow.
Yeah, spike the heart rate, or if you aren't that efficient with them, like if you like, this is one of those workouts where there is like, they do act as like a little bit of a separator because you either do have double unders or you don't in a lot of cases, right?
Right.
So it's like, let's break down the workout. So what is the workout exactly?
Yeah. So, essentially we have a lot of aspects of a workout everyone's super familiar with, Fran, where we see some pulling gymnastics paired with the thruster. Now, the difference between regular Fran and this workout is the reps are going to be much higher. So it's going to be 21, 18, 15. And the pull ups are going to get harder each round. So RX is going from pull ups, chest to bar pull ups to muscle ups in the final round. And the thruster weight's increasing again. RX typical 95-65 for the set of 21, 115-75 for the set of 18, and then 135-85, which is bullshit, is RX for the final barbell. So we see that increasing weight. Same thing goes with scaled. Scaled's going to start out as jumping pull-ups. Second movement's going to be regular pull-ups. Third movement's going to be chest to bar. I believe the weights go 55, 45, no,
Hmm.
65, 45, 85, 55, and then 105, 65 is, I
Yeah.
believe what the scaled thruster weights are. So again, we see, regardless of what variation you're choosing, we see the same theme with increasing difficulty on gymnastics, increasing weight on the thrusters, and then again, there's going to be jump rope paired in the middle. That's just enough to throw you off and just enough to spike your heart rate.
So before we get into strategy, like how do you decide if you're somebody who should attempt to RX this workout or scale this workout?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to have this exact question tomorrow. You're probably not. Some of you aren't going to listen to this before we kick things off at 8:15 tomorrow. But really deciding with this workout, I've already had conversations with 3 or 4 members. But biggest thing that we see with this is, first off, can you do pull-ups?
Yeah. Right. If we can't do pull-ups, that's
Pull-ups.
going to be like number one right there.
You can't do pull-ups, you should scale this workout, right? Because
And
again,
like I think we can add a caveat to that. Like for the open, it's like, okay, like what's can't do pull-ups. Like if you can physically do no pull-ups, you should be
correct.
scaling. If you're someone who can do some singles, right? And like pull-ups might be something that like are a new skill to you. I would say you should definitely scale this workout and see how many pull-ups that you can actually get within that time cap.
Yeah, and so with that, I would say, um, if you can do some pull-ups, but like 21 is going to be a lot for you, you should still scale this workout, right?
Okay.
Because the whole workout you start with pull-ups today, and there's a chance that you don't do anything besides fight for 21 pull-ups for 12 minutes.
So give me like the line in the sand of where you would say like if you have X amount of pull-ups, this is when you should either RX or scale.
Yeah, in my opinion, if you can get through the pull-ups in about 4 to 5 minutes, it's probably worth RXing this workout because
Okay, yeah.
you're gonna fight through those, fast singles. There's absolutely nothing wrong with today, in this workout. But again, for most of us, we're looking to do more than just 12 minutes of as many pull-ups as possible. So the nice part about this scaled workout is you get a round 21 jumping pull-ups, 42 single unders, 21 thrusters. And then you get to chip away at your pull-ups,
Mhm.
right? So in my opinion, if pull-ups are going to be the limiting factor, it's probably worth scaling so that you get some stimulus before you're fighting through those pull-ups.
Yeah, and having the pull-ups at the end is nice too to challenge yourself because if you are someone who has a few, like the jumping pull-ups and the jumping chest to bar, they're probably not going to be that difficult. So to your point, I guess you could still like PR the amount of pull-ups that you've ever achieved in a workout, even if you scale it.
Yeah, exactly. And, again, this is one of those like kind of hot topic points, with the open. I think it was about 2019 that they started to really make the scaled version of like chest to bar and muscle ups much more challenging. And again, the thing about it is the open's designed to test you and push the limits, right? Now, if you don't care about the open, which some of you might not tomorrow, we can make this to be whatever you kind of want it to be, and we can, sub in things. But the way the open is designed is to push you. So, if you want to do jumping chest to bars in that second round instead of the true scale of chin over the bar pull-ups, awesome. We'll roll with it. But
Yeah.
the open's designed to challenge people, and I think that sometimes these scales do a good job of pushing people out of those comfort zones a little bit.
Yeah, I do wish there would not have been 2 jumping pull-up standards in the scaling version of the workout, right? Like, where it would have been nice if it was, like, jumping pull-ups and then regular pull-ups and then chest to bar attempts.
That is what it is.
Oh, I thought it was jumping pull-ups, jumping chest to bar.
Only scaled masters.
Only scale masters. Okay, got it. So I wasn't completely wrong there.
Yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
that's where my head was on the pull-ups
That
because
makes sense. No, that makes sense. I was mistaken on the scale version. I thought that was the scale version for everybody.
yeah, just the scaled masters. So, second movement, true scaled is chin over the bar pull-ups, which
Oh, then that's great. Yeah, you get through all that, then you have some time to chip away. You're gonna get through a ton of work then.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So that's where the line would be for me, on the pull-ups, right?
yeah,
If you're pretty confident you can get through 21 pull-ups, even if it's going to take you 4 to 5 minutes, work through it if you want, right? Because then you're going to have some jump rope. Now, again, if you're not very good at jump rope, you're not very good at pull-ups, and that 95-65 barbell is going to be heavy for you, we might err on the side of, maybe scale and do that. But otherwise, if you're pretty comfortable with the jump rope, you're relatively comfortable with the thrusters, chip away at those pull-ups, and then, who knows, maybe the first chest to bar happens.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Let's go into strategy. So if you're RXing it, what's your strategy going into this? I mean, you're someone who's going to finish this, right? For me, I'm like, okay, I want to get a few bar muscle up attempts in.
Yeah, which honestly, the way this workout is designed, for the most part, is you want to give yourself, I don't know, 2 minutes to get as many muscle up attempts as possible. you know, and every rep you can get, you're going to pass a lot of people technically if you're registered on the leaderboard. For me, very confident. My gymnastics, low level jump rope plays to my advantage. And then the thrusters are where I'm still fighting through my head a little bit. But, for me, I think, short breaks on the thrusters might be a good strategy for me. Now, 3, 2, 1, go tomorrow. I'll probably do the round of 21 unbroken. Probably try to hang on to big sets with 115 and then just get through that final barbell, whatever I can. But I think strategy for everyone is going to be to watch the gas in that first round, right? We do Fran. Everyone, almost actually, I think everyone at our gym has done Fran because we do it in on ramp, and it's a benchmark we test probably 3 to 4 times a year. But when we think of Fran, we think 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull ups. For most people, thrusters are probably harder than the pull ups. Again, that's debatable depending on the person, but thrusters are coming first, right? This workout, the gymnastics are coming first. So you are going to be a little more fatigued when you pick up that barbell for the set of 21.
Well, so that's an interesting point, right? Because with the gymnastics being first, I know there's going to be people who go out there and just rip a big set of pull-ups, right? And really fatigue themselves out. Then they're going to get back to the chest to bar and be like, what have I done?
Yeah. So, I think really pumping the brakes on that is going to be important because generally you finish that set of 21 on Fran and you're starting to breathe heavy. You're feeling a little fatigued. But then you kind of tell yourself, all right, 15, 15 coming up next. Well, not only do we not go down to 15, we stay at 18, but the movement on the gymnastics is getting harder and the weight on the second round of thrusters is getting heavier.
Yeah.
So if you aren't careful in that first round, you are going to get smacked hard in the face when you get to that round of 18 chest to bar.
Yeah. I think it's like, especially if you're someone who wants to get a muscle up, right? Like if your goal is like, hey, I want to like at least get one muscle up, the difference between you getting a muscle up and not getting one could be the way that you break up those pull-ups in the beginning, right? Because you don't want to get to a point where you're forced to come off the bar, right? Like you're so fatigued where you're just like failing mid-rep because gymnastics movements are just so hard to recover from when you reach that point of fatigue.
Exactly. And so, with that, I really think, the best strategy for everyone, whether you're capable of knocking out 21 pull-ups, you're capable of knocking out 5 pull-ups, whatever it might be, the second you even feel like you're straining a little bit is time to drop.
So
right?
pull-up number 1.
And again, that might be the case. There's literally nothing wrong with fast singles in this workout. Again, if it's going to keep you from failed reps and keep you from, holding your breath and using more energy, fast singles is probably not a terrible strategy.
Yeah, for me, like thinking about it, the first set of pull-ups, something like 6 and then like 3 sets of 5, like that sounds pretty reasonable to me. And then once we get into the chest to bar, just stringing together sets of 3, like maybe even doubles,
Yeah.
when we get there, just to manage that fatigue, right? Because I'm not someone who's going to like, no matter how fast I try to go, I'm not going to have a ton of time left at the end to go for bar muscle ups. Like I just want to get a few.
Right. And the thing you can't play down either with these gymnastics is you're going to have a heavy barbell in your hand, regardless, like the barbell is going to feel heavier than it should when you finish 18 chest to bar and 36 double unders, so you can't play that down either because the following round of the thrusters is going to affect your gymnastics as well. So breaking things before you think you need to and being conservative, especially in that round of 21, I think is going to play huge for everybody.
Yeah. How about scaling strategy, right? Because I kind of look at it like being like a little bit of a trap just with those jumping pull-ups in the beginning and then going into thrusters. Like if you just rip through those jumping pull-ups, like you're probably going to fatigue your legs out a little bit more than you think or raise your heart rate. And then when you go to pick up that barbell.
I always laugh because, workout that we do a couple of times a year, the Filthy 50, the RX movement is jumping pull-ups. And for people that don't do jumping pull-ups really ever, you forget how taxing of a movement they really are. Like your heart rate spikes on those. It's basically like doing mini box jumps as fast as you can. So I really think with that, same thing we talked about with pull-ups. If you feel like you're using energy, take a break. Just take a big deep breath. From there, when you're ready to go again, right?
And it's going back to the pull-up thing. I think it's important to realize too. It's like if you want to get pull-ups, like don't worry about how fast you go through that set of jumping pull-ups, like because that's unimportant, right? Because when you get to the pull-ups, chances are you're gonna be slowed down anyway, right? And you're going to have to like that might take you the remainder of the workout. So like if you're trying to get as many pulls as you can, or like PR the number of pull-ups that you've gotten a workout, just pace yourself until you get to that point. Like you don't need to go all out and get to the pull-ups as quickly as possible.
100%. And something that, might resonate with people a little bit better. I know we have members that, say to themselves or think to themselves, like, there's like a 1% chance I get a pull up tomorrow or get a muscle up tomorrow. Right. But if we think about it this way, if we were doing a workout and then we told you that there is a heavy barbell in front of you that you've never hit ever, most of the time you're going to think to yourself, all right, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and then I'm going to attempt to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially what we want to look at this workout like,
Yeah.
get through that first round and then gather yourself. Take a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you feel like you need to kind of gather yourself, let yourself recover a little bit, and then make that attempt. And if it fails that first attempt, depending on how much time you have left, whether it's a second round or the third round, rest another minute. Give yourself some time, shake out your arms, get ready to go again. We can approach this gymnastic work just like we would approach a max lift.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Martinez just gave us a hi guys from the comment. I'm wondering how many bar muscle ups he's gonna go for tomorrow. Matt, let us know, buddy.
So yeah, I think that's really it with the gymnastics portion. Again, stay in your lane. Don't overdo it with that. Break things up early, especially as you start to fatigue. The jump rope, like I mentioned, it's pretty low volume. If you're coming to class today, you're going to do 200, double unders, single unders, plus whatever you're doing in the warm-ups. That's over double the volume you're going to hit tomorrow in the workout.
Yeah.
It's low volume. Don't get frustrated with that jump rope in your hand. When you pick up the rope, 1 or 2 big deep breaths, get into it, get past it. Again, the other nice thing is you'll have someone counting your jump ropes for you. So you should focus on your breathing. Don't focus on counting. Focus on your breathing. Focus on jumping, right? Then we get through that. We get into the thrusters. Again, just like we talk about with Fran, that set of 21, we always say, 3 sets or less, 8, 7, 6, 3 sets of 7, something along those lines. That's probably a pretty good spot to be at in the first round of the thrusters, right?
Yeah.
Everyone should have a weight on the barbell that first round that you feel pretty familiar with. You get through that. And again, for some people, like we just had mentioned, you're going to spend the majority of the rest of the workout attempting those chest to bars, pull-ups, whatever the option might be. So you're going to be done with thrusters. But for some people who are going to make it through that next portion, that second thruster weight is going to feel even heavier than you think it should. You're going to have, a decent chunk of gymnastics out of the way. Your heart rate's going to be a little elevated from the jump rope, as we mentioned. So again, at that point, break things up to be manageable and avoid failure, right? Make sure you have a good front rack position, you're bracing, you're breathing, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be a great workout tomorrow. I think this is a great one to end the open on. If you are coming tomorrow, Vincent has the heat sheet sign up on our private Facebook group. The Arsenal shirts for the opener also in. I got mine right here. Look at that. This is my favorite. It's my favorite shirt that we've gotten in a long time. I think it looks really good. Better
turnout than the orange ones we did last year. Those were not
better. Yeah. Those were, we could have done better there. We definitely could have done better there. No, so I'm excited. Arsenal theme. So wear your black and orange.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun day.
All right, let's move on to the question of the week. So this one, somebody had asked Coach Eric at some point, But the difference between really the benefits between a front squat versus a back squat, right? Why do we choose to use ones on different days? What's the reasoning behind the programming for both?
Yeah, and it's a great question, and I'm going to start off giving like the most basic answer that should make total sense to everybody. A back squat, the barbell is sitting on your back. So, we have our posterior chain, which is the back side of our body, and the anterior chain, which is the front side of our body. A back squat taxes more of the backside. A front squat, go figure, because we're holding the bar in the front, is going to tax more of the front side of your body.
Right. So when we say that, the back squat is going to be working more. Obviously, okay, your glutes, your hamstrings are going to be more involved with it. Obviously, it's going to require more strength in your lower to mid back to keep your chest upright during that squat. When we go into a front squat, it's going to become more quad dominant, right? A lot of time because we do have to stay so upright. Our knees are going to travel a little bit more forward over our toes, right? It puts more of a demand on our mid, like on our abs, right, and our obliques to help keep that upright. More so than it does on a back squat. Obviously both sides of our core involved are each, but just one biases the other a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. And as far as, programming and things like that goes, a front squat translates more to our Olympic lift, our power clean, right? Or
Yep.
our squat clean. Whenever we hit those reps, where are we catching it? In the bottom of our front squat or in that like quarter front squat position. So again, there's a little bit more translation to a specific movement with that front squat. Whereas our back squat's a little bit more of the traditional power movement. So when we talk about raw strength or raw power, the back squat's going to be a little bit more of that purpose.
Building overall strength, right? We're not going to be able to front squat as much as we can back squat, right? But we need to back squat in order to build that front squat.
Exactly.
And not to say that the front squat can't help our back squat.
Yeah, ultimately we're looking at the same movement pattern as far as, the mechanics of the squat motion remain the same. It's just where we're holding the barbell and a slight difference in what muscle groups are primarily involved in moving that barbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So next week programming. Let's give them a little preview. What do we got coming up?
Yeah. So I'm sure some of you are very upset, but yesterday was the final Thursday partner workout. So, someone can yell at the city for having a water fountain in the middle of Butler Street near the 62nd Street Bridge.
That was wild.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Like it looked like a river just flowing out of the street down that hill, like to the actual river. It was nuts.
Yeah. So apologies if you didn't make it in for the final Thursday partner workout, but we'll be back to our regular schedule. So Monday and Friday we'll look, solo workouts. Saturday will be partner again, and then Sunday class. But couple retests. Continuing on with our Wonder Woman series, we're going to see Serena on Monday, which is 3 rounds for time, 10 bar facing burpees, 8 power clean and jerks, 5 squat snatches. So if you like a barbell, that's a great test of all of that. We're also going to carry on with the snatch pull snatch cycle that we saw this past Monday as well. So we're going to be moving through with that.
Do you want to explain that a little bit? Exactly what your thinking was when you're putting that cycle together?
Yeah. So snatch pulls are something that some of you guys might not be super familiar with. I think it was all the way back last summer, the last time we kind of saw a snatch pull cycle. But the snatch pull does a couple of things really, really well. It helps us help you dial in your setup position for an Olympic lift, right? So making sure that our setup is where it needs to be, your feet are where they need to be, your grip is where it needs to be, all of that kind of stuff. From there, it really helps us dial in the different pulls that are involved in that Olympic lift. So some of you might know there's 3 pulls kind of involved in our Olympic lifts. So the first pull's off the ground. Again, if we're ripping the bar off the ground as fast as we can, the bar is going to travel forward on you every single time. So the snatch pull really helps us kind of reinforce the good bar path that we're looking for on the Olympic lifts. And then the last thing it does is teach you and make sure that you're opening your hips and shrugging your shoulder before you would actually go into those lifts. So,
Right, which would be the third pull, right? So you
yeah,
mentioned 3 pulls. We essentially have, like, from our ground to, like, right above our knee, from our knee to that power position where we're about to go vertical, and then finally that vertical position.
correct. So the snatch pull is a great way to reinforce all of those things. The other thing that it does, and I really like snatch pulls for some of you who have been around for a little bit longer and have probably, had multiple Olympic lift 1 rep max tests. We can get in our head where we get into that setup position. We start to lift that weight off the ground and like we go, oh shit, in our head. Like, I don't think I can hit this. And then we psych ourselves out before we even have an attempt at the barbell. So by performing snatch pulls, we can build confidence in that first pull so that all we really have to do is finish the lift after we open our hips.
Yeah, right, it's just the idea that, like, if my max snatch is 100 pounds, right, I put 115, 120 pounds on the bar, and I go and I start to do some snatch pulls to get comfortable, like you said, just with the timing, getting that up there. I don't have to worry about, like, the mental intimidation of actually finishing the lift and catching it overhead. I can just get to my hip, see how much speed I can like, how much speed and power I can generate there, and then over time, I'm like, "Oh, well, this feels really, really good." Like, I will have the confidence to go under it and catch it.
Yeah. And then, we finish off the complex with a snatch. Again, your choice, power, squat, whatever you feel more comfortable with or whatever you want to work on more. And again, for the most part, your weights are probably going to stay pretty similar across this cycle because we are finishing each one with a snatch.
Mhm.
But more so, the goal is when we take away one snatch pull that you start to feel more comfortable with the weight you hit the previous week, right? So doing 3 snatch pulls is tiring. So
Yeah.
when you hit that final snatch, it might not have felt as good as you hoped. Well, this coming week, hopefully it feels better because we're cutting off a snatch pull. So that's one less full pull and extension that you have to hit. So really, you know, I think the Olympic lifts are super fun to work on, whether you hate them or love them. There's such small details. If one thing goes just a little bit wrong, the lift doesn't feel good. So if you're a perfectionist kind of personality, they're always really fun to work on.
Yeah.
Other things that we're going to see this week. Are we have carrying on with our front squat Wendler cycle, so we'll see 3x1 with 1+ on that final rep into a spicy little couplet of thrusters and some running. Weather looks good for next week, which is fun. We're going to build to a 10 rep max floor press, which is going to be the start of a fun little cycle that we're going to see. So some of you, whether you've been to build or think back, I think it was around May or June of last year, we did 10 rep max back squat. 10 rep maxes are pretty tough. It's just a lot of time under tension. With a floor press, some of you might know 1 rep, 3 rep, maybe even a 5 rep, but money on no one knows what a true 10 rep is. I don't even know what a true 10 rep max for myself is. So it's kind of getting into that higher volume pressing motion. And again, we're shifting a little bit more towards, post open. We're going to go through a little bit different of a more traditional powerlifting cycle, just to mix things up a little bit. I think everyone enjoys floor pressing, just a variation of a bench press essentially. So I'm excited for that. From there, we're going to use that number to go through an entire floor press cycle. So all throughout April, you're going to kind of build off of whatever 10 rep max you establish this week.
Excellent. It's gonna be a fun week next week.
Yeah, and other than that, we see a little bit of deadlifting. We, like I said, have our traditional partner workout with some jump squats. I think I've been programming more jump squats and jumping lunges, just body weight, and I think
No one's noticed that.
Everyone always forgets how hard they are. Everyone's like, "Can we just do goblet squats or something?" These, explosive jumping movements are terrible.
I like them because I do think they also, they force people to slow down a little bit, right? Because when you are jumping off the ground, you do have to create tension and stability when you land, or else you're gonna be falling all over the place, right? So, like, when you do get fatigued, you see people just stopping a little bit more to take a little bit of, like, a longer rest so that they can keep their balance when they actually land.
Right, 100%. So, I think it's fun as well to just mix things up and, moving our bodies well through space is really something that we're all going to strive to do until we die. So, sometimes just having an unloaded explosive movement is a great way to reinforce that our body is a machine itself and can beat us up pretty good.
Yeah. Alright, man. Anything else we gotta cover?
I don't think so. Very excited tomorrow. Even if you haven't done any of the open workouts, and maybe you haven't even been in on a Saturday and you don't want to work out tomorrow, still make sure to stop by the gym. It's going to be a lot of fun. The final week, the Arsenal week, always is a good time. So if you can make it, whether you work out or not, make sure to stop by tomorrow. We'll be there probably from 8 to noon. Who knows what the day will have in store, but
Yeah. All right, guys. If you haven't already, give us a favor. Like the video, Matt. Go and like that video. Subscribe to the channel so that you guys get notified when we're coming on. And then, if you want to see the or hear the replay, we're going to be putting it on a Apple podcast. So it's just Arsenal Strength Weekly Update. You can go ahead, search that. I also put a link into our private Facebook group as well.
yeah. And other than that, if you have questions of, tomorrow when you get in about like what's the best variation of the workout you should be doing, just come up and ask us, and we'll definitely guide you in that right direction.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you.
See you guys.
Later, guys.